Testing 1, 2. Looks like we got audio. And hey, welcome to my stream. I'm about to start working on turn off all the other extra stuff. Hey, welcome to my stream. I'm about to start working on Alright, there we go. Well, we got the audio working and looks like I'm online. So anyway, let me switch to the other screen. Hi, welcome to my stream, and my name is Jim Inziello. I've got a stream here on Twitch and also on YouTube. And every Monday I try to go online and do something 3D, something either virtual reality or ZBrush. And tonight I'm going to be doing ZBrush. So without further ado, let me switch screens over. Alright, so what we have here is Noah from one of my favorite comics. It's a French comic called Skydoll. And oh jeez, I didn't even hook up my pen tablet. Hold on here. There we go. The tablet's live. I can't hear me work any longer because I turned her down too much. Alright. So, first things first, I'm going to go in here and check out just... I'm going to look at her body and isolate select those. So I know the neck isn't right, or the head is bigger than the neck. What we got going on here? Sculptress. Yeah. I'm going to turn off the global and turn that to a little bit. So recent advances in 3D printing have really excited me as an artist, and I'll tell you what I mean by that. Basically, we have at our company, or at the university, a Stratasys J750, and that printer has an array of 8 different think of them like, you know, a traditional printer has a nozzle on it that prints in CYMK. It actually sprays jets of CYMK, which is cyan, yellow, magenta, black, onto white paper. So this printer actually works very similar to that, except instead of it just being a single nozzle, it's an array of about 32 nozzles, I believe, per... don't quote me on this, but I think it's 32 nozzles per of the 8 different materials that you can deliver at once. So because there are droplets made up of these material, you can put tiny little amounts of each individual material on the surface, and the surface is basically just sort of a metal. Think of it like a spun metal. Black anodized surface, and that basically allows you to sort of put a droplet down and or put tons of droplets down, millions in fact, per second, and it just goes back and forth, And what this is known as is voxel printing. So currently the way 3D printers work, they get a model, artist or engineer creates a model, and it slices it sort of like a one line at a time, all the way from the bottom to the top. And usually it figures out where the outside edges are and where the inside edges are, and it draws a line around all of it. And that's known as a machine path, like a tool path. Traditionally, if you had like an old-fashioned CNC machine, this would just be in 2 dimensions. But now with the FDM, or fused deposition modeling, or fused filament fabrication, is with the well, anyway, it's all the same thing. It's basically you put some filament in a machine and it puts it in a hot end, like a hot glue gun, and it uses these little paths to go and build up the model. Well, with voxel printing, it's pretty much right now the way all jet printers work, and even the ones that are resin based, where it lasers them or exposes a plate. They all basically slice up the model in a very similar way. The laser ones and the ones that use like the resin bath, they tend to break up the model in slices that are either on or off. Either the material's there or the material's not there. Which is similar to what the J750 does, but much simpler. The J750 essentially slices it up, saying, alright, this outer edge of the model is a certain color, and this part of the edge of the model is a different color. And I'm going to basically differentiate across the surface and create a texture that, if you look at it as a slice going all the way through it, the center of the model would be all white, because that's like the white of the paper. And the outer portion, just that outer edge of the model, will actually have a little bit of color applied to it. So one of the nozzles on the CYMK will actually add on that outer edge a color texture. Now eventually there's going to be some other aspects of the 3D printer that are going to be sort of unlocked after we get it out of the beta. And that unlocking will basically allow us to do things like, I would like, say, her eyeballs to be translucent. And so you can actually have a transparent PNG saying, okay, anything below this part of the object is going to be transparent. I would think going to the center of the object. But anything that's opaque, if it's totally opaque or somewhat opaque, that will sort of gradate across the surface, and so you'll see clear on the inside, and the outside, or wherever you have it opaque in the texture map, will appear opaque in the model. So basically, this is the beginning of the explanation of why I am so excited as an artist, because this is going to allow us to mix a medium, make things that were only basically a model. We'll have control over creating things like, say, a cloud. Now, that's not quite going to happen by what I was just describing, but we're working our way towards that, which is the really cool thing that I'm talking about here. So eventually what'll happen is the voxel system will allow for small individual changes to be made at the material level at a per voxel. So let's go back to voxels. Voxels are essentially volumetric pixels, and these pixels are defined at whatever resolution your printer can print at and whatever resolution you're working at. So generally, if I'm working in a model like this polygonal model, which actually I think that's way too low, or high rather. If you're working in a polygonal model, you will have a lot of polygons and texture on the outside of the object, but all the way through it, because it's not an actual true voxel model, you won't have anything defined in there. It'll just be all white or transparent if it's got a transparent texture on top of it. Anyway, so there's a long way to go, but eventually in programs like Houdini and other high-end simulation programs, we'll be able to build up our models on a slice level so that all the way through the model we can say, here I want to have transparent, but here I don't. And here I'd like to have a cloud dissipating into a transparency. And so I could basically make like a cloud, say you've got like a horseshoe nebula or something like that. I could model something that's exactly like the horseshoe nebula, and you could look at it from all the different angles inside, say, the eye of a character or the head or something like that. So what I'm saying is you could essentially model very complicated structures inside of other structures. So I could sculpt something and then I could put something inside that. It's like, you know, like putting a bottle inside of a... Yeah, it's basically like a very advanced version of putting a ship inside a bottle. But I guess that's probably the easiest way to say it. But, I mean, going even further than that, we're just talking that CYMK, that's 4, plus white, because you need white, because that would be paper. So that's your voxel print with just full color. Then you got transparency, and you need to have support material, because anything that's not supported, the droplets will just drop down to nowhere. So you can't have unsupported things with this method. So you have to have support material. And then you can have transparency. Wait, did I count that right? CYMK, then white, then support material, then maybe transparency, like for crystal clear transparent. So that's 7. 8, you can actually have an 8th, which is another nozzle in there. That 8th nozzle can be, say, rubbery, or it can be, well, who knows? We haven't really come up with anything yet. But we have a rubbery material, multiple different types of rubbery materials, I believe. And you could, of course, take the transparency material and blend it with the other color materials, because they're transparent also. The only ones that are opaque, I think, are the white and the black. So anyway, yeah, so this is really cool stuff, because now you've got those 8 things to work with. That's a whole genre of art right there, like a whole new genre of art that's never been done before. Like, no human would have had the ability to do this. But you go even further and say add a couple more materials into the future where you could have some kind of conductive material, and maybe some other materials that allow you to print transistors and diodes and light emitting diodes. And now you see where we're going. You could basically, if you have the model in a voxel form, you'll be able to, and sorry, it's saving, so I'm just going to have to talk. But yeah, you'll be able to save all this stuff from the file to reality. You're going to be able to save. It's in the middle of saving, so I just said that. Anyway, you'll be able to print to reality from a model the textures, the transparency, the rubberiness, electronic properties, metallic properties, all kinds of properties, optical properties, right there in the printer. I mean, I could get my glasses and essentially the prescription, everything, including even maybe, I wouldn't say the metal, not like this. It might be a different type of metal, or some kind of new alloys. Who knows? But what I'm getting at is that essentially we'll be able to put them together, not just like this is, where it's just printed out or plopped out, you know, over and over. But we could build stuff so that the structure of it is lighter, only uses what needs to be there and doesn't use what's not important to the object. Or that's from an industrial standpoint, but from an artistic standpoint, sky's the limit. I mean, if you can imagine it, literally you'll be able to print it out and, you know, it'll come to life. Perhaps maybe we could make robotics with this, which is what I'm very excited about that. Doing the art and the robotics aspect together. 'Cause I think too long has has the realm of robotics been sort of stuck in an engineering paradigm where everything is sort of top down, especially on the planning side? Like I really need to start getting into more about programming. So I learned. I know that they're actually doing this concept of embodiment mixed with biomimicry, because I really feel that once we start acting like, or once you start making things that mimic reality, that mimic, millions of years of evolution, we're going to wind up stumbling upon things that work. Things that already been figured out to have worked, because that's what things evolve to do. And so this is getting really lumpy. Alright, I gotta fix this. But basically what I'm getting at is that once you start being able to print a thing that's almost as if it were grown, then growing things, maybe even in a simulation, may give rise to better outputs. And so the cool part about that is I could see a crossover between generative design, which is where I'm putting basic parameters in, and sort of letting them crossbreed with each other, to regular design, which is what I'm doing right now. Sort of working the surface, making changes to it, thinking about how things look. Alright, her neck is looking really lumpy. Yeah, it's definitely looking a little lumpy. I don't know what's going on with that. Alright, I think I need to look at a person's neck bones just to make sure that I'm not screwing this up. So, lady's neck. Lady... No, necklace. So I guess the necklace will be hanging on the neck, so... No. Okay, let's see here. Oh yeah, if you're in the chat room, thanks for stopping by. I'm going to say, hello chat. Hello chat. don't like how lumpy this is getting. Alright, I'm going to mask out the bottom here. And invert. Yeah, okay. And I'm also going to grab the bottom here. Ooh, that's got a lump in it. Alright, let's fix that. Move the lump. Okay, and let's go into here and do some fixing to the body under deformation. And let's go into let's do a Senkaku brush. So, some of my favorite brushes over here. This clay fill should fix some of the uneven quality here. Definitely don't. I'm going to turn off the solo, bring all this stuff back. So actually, what do we need to do now? Well, I'm going to make a, I'm going to turn off some of this junk because it's really high poly, but I don't want to lose anything, so I'll just turn off the unimportant stuff, and we'll get back to, how do we feel here? This is still dragging a bit. I'm going to turn her hair off for the moment. Okay, that's much better. That hair is way too high poly. Oh, no, it's not. It's acting very high poly. Oh, it's both Z-spheres and polygons, so maybe that's why. So, if I want to just display that without getting into trouble, I'm going to take this thing, which is not final anyway. I'm not really, the hair kind of looks like it came out of a toothpaste tube. Alright, so I'll just go in here and make poly mesh. Turn the color back on. So now it's not, okay, so it's not made up of Z-spheres anymore. That might have been a reason why it was laggy. Okay, let me make it even better. Pre-processing current mesh. So sometimes it's best when you're working on high polygon stuff to extract some of the stuff that you know is not going to be final, or is just like stand in to block it out, and basically lower the resolution because it's just not helping. Oh, hold on. Trick about this is that you're going to decimate the mesh, but you want to retain some of the color. Duplicate, go back up here, decimate. What the hell is it? Decimate current, blah blah blah, looks like crap. Alright, now we're going to reproject the color back onto it. Probably won't be perfect, but that's okay. We're going to have the high resolution, and I think there's still, the Z-spheres are still here, which is why it's so laggy. So I'm just going to copy. Yeah, wait, that's 2 million polygons. Hold on. No, that's 200,000. versus 700,000, so that should be better. Copy pasta. What is this? Yeah, pasta. Okay, why is that not? Huh? Okay, I'm going to hit undo. What is going on? Okay, that I've seen that happen a couple times. It somehow, when you go to paste, it like does something. It translates it or something. I don't know why it does that. There's definitely a bug in ZBrush. Like the new version of ZBrush has a bug. Yeah, because now it's fine. And look, we got a little better frame rate. All right. Exciting, exciting. No, it's actually not. It is beginnings of flower. What do we got here? It's pretty low resolution flower. So I could do this. The cool way should be to. I want to like. I'll do this by hand. Screw it. Blah blah blah. It'll all get decimated down anyway. So, oops. So yeah, the smaller you get, the higher the detail, which is really cool. Alright, so now I'm going to turn on the... where the hell is it? Activate symmetry. How many petals do we want? I think I would like to have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 10 petals. Let's see. And it's the wrong direction. Let's go the other way. There we go. So just pull this out. Okay, just kind of keep moving this out. And then we'll grow it this way. It's very much like growing a flower. Let's put a little bit of underside. rivulets here. Oops. Oh, with all that work, I think it's still getting kind of slow, so I'm gonna have to turn off things. Alright. So now I'll just have a head. Oops. Nope. Let's go in here, do some slashing. Slash brush. Okay. Looks pretty. Looks like the beginning of a beautiful friendship. Alright, so let's do move tool. Wait, no, back here. Okay, invert that. Hopefully it won't crash. Actually, I'm going to save this before I do this thing, which might crash the whole system. La la la. Alright. I don't know any of the new Bjork stuff, so I'm going to change this up because I'm not recognizing anything. I love her, but have not been following her too closely lately. Alright, I've been working on this college playlist from the 90s. Mostly stuff I either took to college with me or came out while I was at college. I feel like I gotta like, what? Saving on Duke History. I gotta turn that off. That's awful. Alright, well anyway, now is a good time to talk about other things. Dragon Con was cool. I wish I got to go. I'm still trying to get to go to next year's Dragon Con. But unfortunately, getting hotel rooms is very difficult. If you don't know about Dragon Con, it's probably one of the coolest conventions on the East Coast of America. I was going to say Florida. It's in Atlanta, Georgia, and it usually happens on Labor Day weekend, which was last weekend. Anyway, or a week ago. Anyway, yeah, so that is very difficult. Oh my god, no, you don't get to save undo history again. That's just unacceptable. What? So yeah, I'm hoping to go next year. Hopefully we'll all still have a job and things will be going good. I'd like to actually cosplay as something new, so if anybody has any ideas, I'll probably come up with something and just... It won't be like a cool, tested, hey, where's Jim? I don't get that complicated with my outfits, but maybe one of these years I'll get a really complicated 3D printed thing. I've been actually thinking about doing okay, it's like stuck on a fucking loop now. Anyway, I'm planning on maybe doing a mech character, like a robotic character. Okay, here we go. Here's our option. We're gonna get Spinning Wheel of Death. Anyway, I was thinking about doing just kill it. Okay. Sorry. I have to stop everything and fix this awful quick info, how to use it, performance. At all. Maybe not. Okay. I assume maybe you can't. I'm trying to figure out if you can pull this away from the activate symmetry. Mirror, maybe turn that off. No. Well, I guess you can't do that. So I'll just have to go here and do a move tool. Alright, we'll get this. One way or the other. Keep on. You've got a flower on your head. Not quite the daisy I was looking for. Alright, let's just soften that up a little bit. That's a little better. Still, it's pulling a little. Whoa, what just happened there? Oh, I guess that's what happens when you hit the. Oh my god. Alright, so I'm just going to pull this out. Oh, so you hit the shift key and it makes things look shitty. What is going on with that? So it actually. Why is it. Oh, it pulled it down? Wait, what? I hit the shift key and that happens. Don't hit the shift key and that doesn't happen. So let's. Okay, I'm turning off this other thing because it just keeps on trying to roll shit around. Okay, that's the only thing in the scene. There's no. Why is it? Local symmetry. Okay, now. So holding a shift key when there's nothing visible, nothing happens, nothing weird happens. Doing this, nothing happens. Alright, so now if I make this head thing visible, what happens? Okay, there's the head. Pull this out, hit the shift key, and all of a sudden it pulls it down, but not all the way to the surface. So it looks like it's trying to pull it to the surface. Doesn't go. Huh? I don't know. ZBrush, sometimes you do weird things. Okay, there's another brush, another move tool that allows you to pull out just that's a happy little accident, but it's no, that's not happy at all. That's an evil, evil accident. Alright, let's reproject this. Let's see, mesh. let's try. What happens if you have a dynamo? Oh yeah, you can't do a dynamesh with the thing on. Let's just dynamesh with the high res. Dink. Might as well put some color on this thing. Even though it's like not really colorful. Because it's actually part of her headdress. Alright. Yeah, so I'll put a little bit of darkness to the pistola. Alright, that looks like a pretty decent flower. I think I should give it some backside structure just to shore it up. So you're probably not even going to see this, but just to be on the safe side, it's a good idea to put some structure, even though the real thing may not actually have it. And I had to get really technical and go back and forth like little triangle shapes. I basically just want to make sure that it doesn't fall apart. I don't know, looking at it, it kind of would look like the real thing. Let's put this over here. Yeah, look at that. Alright, well, back to talking about Dragon Con. So Dragon Con comes once a year. It's like Christmas, or Halloween. And it's basically like the biggest Halloween you'll ever go to, because a lot of people are in costume. There's drinking, there's hotels where you can be sleeping, you can be hopefully not throwing up. There's a lot of music. A lot of really friendly people. It is such a great, like, you'll have a post-con, like, low that we're listening to low right now, but you'll have a post-con low that you've never experienced in any other convention or party or whatever. It's just such a fun time, but it's also like, wow, what happened? It's over? Yeah, so there's that. But it's great. They've got tracks for every single interest you got. I mean, science fiction, fantasy, both science fiction and British stuff, fantasy and, you know, actually I think about it, there aren't really any French tracks, but there are like certain tracks of, like, if you want to go to the teapot racing, there's actually people who have remote control teapots that are racing back and forth, or people, which I thought that's what this was, but we went to this thing where people are running around trying to, I think they're trying to eat a tea biscuit before it got soggy, and I'm trying to remember if they actually could use their hands to do it. They had to eat a tea biscuit without breaking it in half and get it all into their mouth. It was a very silly thing. But a lot of fun. Anyway, there's a lot of good bands. My friends Secret Shadows play there all the time. They're a staple at Dragon Con. There's Voltaire, a really good musician and slash artist. Yeah, I think he's an artist, writer. I think he wrote, or drew that comic too. I'm sure. Yeah, he did comics. The Adventure Brothers have panels there, and Doc and Chris McCullough, Jackson Pollock, have great. I mean, you can just talk with them outside the hotel sometimes. Who knows what'll happen? A lot of great voice actors will show up. If you're into autographs, there's all kinds of autographs. Not really into that myself, but and then the artist alley is phenomenal. I mean, you will see some really great art either in the gallery or just at the artist tables themselves. It is such a tour de force of great independent artists. I've actually worked the artist alley, not for myself, but it's cool. It's cool stuff. A lot of good people running that part of the, and a lot of the con is volunteer run. All the staff hotel, they love us every year. That I'm sure they also hate us, but we bring a lot of money, and we all get dressed up in costumes. We don't take ourselves very seriously, and I feel for the most part that they like us. And it's Labor Day weekend, so by Monday, pretty much the whole thing's wrapped up, and you're like, please make it end. I have to sleep. God, why is this saving taking... Okay, you know what? After the save is over, I am shutting it off and restarting, because these saves are taking forever. Like, undo history shouldn't take that long. Anyway, so yeah, Dragon Con's cool. I would definitely want to play Zenyatta. I want to cosplay Zenyatta one of these times. I think I'll just be walk-arounds at Zenyatta. I don't think I'm actually going to use like levitation techniques, although that would be kind of cool for the costume. But I was thinking I wanted to do the tentacle-faced version of Zenyatta, which would be fun because there's actually some neat techniques that you can use for that. Oh god, I'm really sorry about this stream, like watching a 3-minute long save. Okay, closing this shit down. Come on, just fucking get out of here. I'm sorry, Oh, there goes the kitty part of the stream. Like, sorry kids, you just said a curse word. That just really pissed me off. Yeah, I'm trying to not have the saves take so long, and it's like literally, it's basically hating on me now because I must have hurt its feelings. So a lot of interesting things have happened in the world of 3D printing that aren't having to do with voxel printing. So one of the recent discoveries I've had was there is a metal 3D printer that I think the chamber gets up to like 600 degrees centigrade, and let me, come on, just please let me fucking restart. Sorry kids. Anyway, it gets up to like 600 degrees centigrade. The reason why it's so hot is the build area is they're spraying little droplets of liquid. I don't know if it's just water or what, but it might just be water. And I think it might be also in a vacuum or in a special controlled environment. But what happens is the liquid actually has tiny little nanoparticles of metal suspended in it. And as soon as the droplets hit the surface, they begin to evaporate. And that process of evaporation essentially causes a sintering effect to happen. I'm not sure if there's actually ignition, but the sintering causes all the metal to go together, and it sinters together beautifully without there being lasers or anything like that. So with the laser, you have to actually go back and forth with the laser beam. But this is basically, you've got droplets being put along an entire, there's probably a thick area that is just doing a swath of it. And so that allows you to lay down a lot of metal over a short period of time. And so what they're talking about doing is having production level, high resolution 3D printed parts. And I guess they know like how quickly, how much it contracts. They know that by an exact amount, so they enlarge the part by that amount in the model or in the way the thing's being laid down, and the end result is you get this sintered together. And I'm not sure if it's a final part or if it's a greenware part. Greenware means it's basically it'll shatter if you hit it with something because it's not totally infused all the way. So I know in the laser sintering method, it's sort of a very delicate thing that you bring to an oven, like a kiln of some sort, and that way you can bring it up to 1,600 degrees or whatever you need to bring the metal up to, and then it just basically sinters together. There also might be some electrolytic process where you can get electrolyte or water, or not water, but some kind of metal that's going to flush in between all that. I think they do it with bronze. And so anyway, this other process is essentially not using lasers, it's using droplets going back and forth. It's similar to how the voxel printing works, except it's just a single material. However, if they had multiple nozzles, like the J750 had for different types of metal, I could see where they might be able to create, in the past, they might be able to almost create like a meta-material between the objects or between the metals. A meta-metal material? Anyway, yeah, so I could see a lot of that stuff being really interesting in the near future because that's what I was thinking. The word I was thinking for was alloys. Maybe in the blending of multiple types of droplets of materials together, you might be able to get some kind of an alloy to occur that you wouldn't be able to lay down any other way, because alloys are generally mixed, whereas this could be like a sandwich of materials. You give it like like a all-clad pot where you've got like stainless steel in the middle and copper followed by stainless steel or something, or not, steel, copper, stainless steel, something like that. Anyway, yeah, so maybe you'll be able to get like some neat like metallic properties out of mixing in ways that could have never really been done before. Yeah, because I mean, they use it for pans and stuff like that, but maybe you gotta have like a heat exchanger or something, or a coil unit for getting temperatures. Anyway, the idea is you can mix metal together in ways you couldn't do it before. Maybe you'll get some novel approaches to it. I'm talking like patents and stuff, which would be cool. Not my wheelhouse. Alright, this thing is taking forever. I don't know why. I'm going to turn off Houdini, which is hanging out here in the background for some reason. I swear, I don't know. It's like it knows I'm on stream and it's basically just crapping out on me. Oh. Yeah, at this point I'm just like, hey, let's go play some Overwatch because I can't apparently arc tonight. Oh! Okay. Getting out of here. Nope, I just fucking saved. Literally just turned off the... Oh, you're killing me. Just go away. Thank you. Alright, anyway, so that was something I noticed a couple weeks back, actually. Let's see, what else is going on in the world of 3D printing? So I was looking at this new printer by Lulzbot. It's actually not by them, it's a nozzle that you can stick on a Lulzbot printer. And for those who don't know, Lulzbot is a fused filament fabrication, FFF, machine, sort of based on some of the older ones. But it still works really well. The bed, I think it's the bed that moves back and forth, or the bed moves X, Y, or bed moves Y and Z, I think. and the other part, the nozzle, goes in the X back and forth. Anyway, so what they have is a extruder that allows you to print like a little octopus. You can print an octopus on it. What? No, please don't tell me that. Tablet service is not available, really. Means I have to turn the services back on. Services. It's not one thing, it's another thing. Where's my services? Alright, I'll just load up Wacom stuff, see what happens. Wacom tablet properties. Yeah, I know. That's what I'm trying to do. The tablet driver was not found. What the hell, people? See, this is why I don't stream. It's just sometimes a nightmare. Like, everything that can go wrong fucking goes wrong. Like, I could have just saved over the file that I had just opened. Just right there, just because I was aggravated. No, of course, I don't want to see that. Alright. Yeah, so my tablet stopped working. I'll just re-plug it in. Maybe magic will happen. Who knows? Retrieving 270 undo steps. I'm gonna turn off saving undos because apparently that's what screwed up everything. That's why it's taking forever. Well, you learn occasionally what you've done wrong.